Here is an in-depth report of Ohio government actions for 5-12-2026, based on the available results and the items they point to. On May 12, 2026, Ohio government activity was concentrated in several areas: legislative committee business at the Ohio General Assembly, a statewide education update from the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce, and a major state regulatory decision tied to energy siting. The day also included local public government activity in Athens, Ohio, and a committee meeting in the Ohio House focused on children and human services. At the state policy and legislative level, the Ohio Senate Ways and Means Committee met on May 12, 2026. The meeting record is available from the Ohio Senate Committee Archive. The Ways and Means Committee is typically responsible for tax policy, state revenue matters, and related fiscal legislation. While the search result provided does not list the full agenda, testimony, or bill numbers, the existence of the meeting indicates active committee-level work on fiscal and revenue issues on that date. Given the committee's jurisdiction, this would have been one of the day's principal legislative actions. The official meeting page identifies the session as a committee meeting held on May 12, 2026 at 11 o'clock, and it was part of the Senate's formal legislative calendar. The Ohio House Children and Human Services Committee also met on May 12, 2026. The committee's video archive entry confirms a public meeting occurred that day. This committee handles matters affecting child welfare, social services, family support systems, and related human services policy. The page does not show the substance of the hearing in the snippet provided, so I cannot reliably identify the specific bills, witnesses, or amendments discussed. Still, it is a significant legislative activity because committee hearings are where Ohio legislation is publicly vetted, heard, and revised before floor action. If you need, I can help reconstruct the exact agenda and bill list if additional search results are available. In addition to those committee meetings, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce published its dates and deadlines update on May 12, 2026. This publication is part of the department's Ed Connection communications and serves as an official reminder of approaching deadlines and important dates. The result shows at least one item for May. On 5/15, Read Ohio Policy Hour was scheduled, indicating an upcoming statewide education policy event. The department's bulletin is a public-facing administrative action rather than a rulemaking or enforcement decision, but it is still an official government communication and helps frame the state education calendar. Since the snippet is partial, the full list of deadlines in the May 12 bulletin is not visible here, but the publication itself confirms active statewide administrative coordination by the department on that date. A major government regulatory action associated with Ohio on or around this date was the Ohio Power Siting Board's rejection of Open Road Renewables' Crossroad solar project in Morrow County. The reporting in the search results states that the board rejected the company's application to build the $98 million solar farm. The key official body here is the Ohio Power Siting Board, which reviews utility-scale energy projects for engineering, environmental, and public interest considerations. The result notes that this was the 7th utility-scale project rejected by state officials since 2020. Importantly, the reported rationale was not engineering failure, poor economics, or environmental harm. Instead, the board's rejection aligned with local opposition from township trustees, county commissioners, and some residents. That means the action was both a regulatory enforcement/siting decision and a significant policy signal for renewable energy development in Ohio. The company's quoted response indicates the ruling could have broader market effects. An executive said the project was no longer a good business proposition and that the firm was not starting new projects in Ohio. That statement underscores the practical consequences of state siting decisions. The broader public policy context on May 12 also included the continuing effects of legislative budget corrections involving federal funding changes. One of the search results notes that Republican lawmakers finalized a bill giving $12.5 million to county governments to offset prior federal cuts. Although the article is a news analysis rather than an official government publication, it describes a legislative action that had just been completed. The spending was part of a larger budget corrections bill. According to the report, the GOP majority divided the money equally among Ohio's 25 largest counties, giving each $226,486, regardless of the size of their federal losses. The article highlights a key consequence. Some counties that lost far more under the federal bill received the same replacement amount as counties with much smaller losses. This is a legislative activity with direct budget implications, and it reflects how state lawmakers responded to federal funding reductions through targeted appropriations. There is also evidence of ongoing election season governmental activity in Ohio during this period. The report notes that the state was in primary season and that elections were May 5, with military and overseas absentee voting already underway and broader voter windows having opened on April 7. While those dates are not actions taken on May 12 itself, they provide context for state election administration and legislative politics that were active around the time. The article suggests the Republican majority was advancing a cluster of high-profile policy positions, including abortion restrictions, drag show bans, changes to school vaccination laws, and capital gains tax reductions. However, because this is a political news summary rather than a direct government record, it should be treated as context rather than a definitive account of enacted law on May 12. At the local government level, the city of Athens, Ohio, held a mayor's weekly update on May 12, 2026. The YouTube listing indicates it was streamed and hosted by the city of Athens, Ohio. While the specific topics are not included in the snippet, a mayor's weekly update is an official public information event, often used to discuss municipal issues, public works, safety, planning, or upcoming city business. The entry shows it was a live or recently streamed civic communication with minimal public attendance at the time of posting, but it is still part of the government activity for the day. Taken together, the most significant Ohio government actions for May 12, 2026 appear to be the Senate Ways and Means Committee meeting, the House Children and Human Services Committee meeting, the Department of Education and Workforce's Deadlines Bulletin, and the Ohio Power Siting Board's rejection of the Crossroad solar project. In addition, legislative fiscal adjustments affecting county funding and local civic communication in Athens contributed to the day's public government activity. If you want, I can turn this into a tighter chronological timeline or a categorized briefing with sections for legislative, executive/administrative, regulatory, and local government actions.